right, ignore this piece at the bottom about that. That's kind of in the way. Usually that really shouldn't be there, but whatever. So we're looking at notes for 2-5 algebra, unit 2, lesson 5, multiplying and dividing radicals. And in this video, we're taking a look specifically at dividing. So just like we already talked about, when we're dividing radicals, they have to have those same index. And that index is that little itty bitty number in the root. Not to be confused with something like in example 2, where we have those 3 and that 4 being multiplied by it. So similar to with multiplication, the square root of a times the square root of b is equal to the square root of those two things multiplied. Same thing with division. The square root of a divided by the square root of b can be rewritten as one giant fraction, the square root of whatever a divided by b is. And just like we talked about, we can break this apart and go backwards. If I have the square root of a over b in one radical, I can then break that up into 2 separate square roots. So that will come in handy when we get into the more complicating simplifying. So similar to multiplying, when we just multiplied corresponding pieces, we are also just dividing corresponding pieces here. So we are dividing corresponding pieces. So we have 63 divided by 9. We know that 63 divided by 9 is 7. So I'm going to look at that separately. So I'm going to look 63 divided by 9. And then separate from that, I'm going to look at the square root of 100 divided by the square root of 50. I know 63 divided by 9 is just 7, so that's nice. And now the square root of 100 divided by the square root of 50, our little rule that we just learned told me that I can rewrite that as one giant square root of 100 divided by 50. Well then, since I'm no longer inside 2 different radicals, I can do that division. 100 divided by 50 is going to give me 2. So that translates, or that simplifies to the square root of 2, because 100 divided by 50 is 2. So my final answer is 7 square roots of 2, or 7 times square root of 2. It's my final simplified answer. Boom. And then finally, our last example here, jumping back to multiplication, we have the square root of 5 times the cube root of 5. And you might be thinking that that would get you the cubed root of 25, but you are wrong. You cannot do this. And again, that is because they do not have the same indices. Indices. I don't know. Whatever. They don't have the same index. One is a 2, one is a 3, 2 is not equal to 3, so we can't do that. All right, boom sauce. So take a look at those homework problems. Make sure you're paying attention to where it says evaluate versus simplifying. And